I guess what I'm getting at is it better to use a small amount of glue to keep them from moving at all or have them slightly move while you're wearing them without adhesive? I'm going to die on this hill. It is better to not wear adhesive or thermoplastic products in your dentures because over time, your gums shrink. And when you are wearing adhesive, you don't realize that it's happening because it's not as noticeable to you when you've glued your denture in or when you've put thermoplastic products in your dentures. Thermoplastic products, there's a whole nother part that I'll address in here about that. But when you wear those products, your gums are still changing and you're just wearing a tiny bit more and a tiny bit more and a tiny bit more, but the denture is still moving the entire time against your gums. So it's masking a problem. And it's not just masking it to not hurt, it's masking it to your brain. It's masking it to your awareness that it's happening. That's why I don't like it, because it is tricking you to thinking that your dentures are fitting when they're not. They're in your mouth and you're chewing with them and they're rubbing and rubbing and rubbing and rubbing and rubbing against your bone and eroding it rapidly. So, no, it's not better to wear a little bit to hold it into place. It's better to not wear the adhesive. With people that have severe bone loss, they have no choice because they've already gone past the point of no return and they have to wear a little bit of adhesive. And in that case, they need to wear a little bit of adhesive, not a gob, because then they'll be moving and moving and moving that denture around, and then it'll take the rest of their bone away. Okay. But people with severe bone loss have to wear a little bit of adhesive to keep the denture stuck where it's at. But they need to pay super close attention to when it's loose so that they can get it relined because it'll get worse. I made a video about a lady yesterday or the day before that was told by her dentist she had not enough bone left at all to wear dentures, that if she got knocked in the face at all, hit from the inside or the outside of her mouth, it could break her jaw. That's what happens. Let's talk about thermoplastic products. I like Dentatch, the company. I think they're great. They're good people, like them. Cushion Grip, I don't know them as well, but I like their product for certain applications. Okay. Thermoplastic products go in and take up the space where the bone has shrunk. And so it tightens the denture up. And then most of the time you don't have to wear adhesive. You just wear that thermoplastic product and it stabilizes the denture enough to where you can use it. But when you're putting thermoplastic products in your dentures, it's thickening up the denture. Okay. When you thicken up the lower and you thicken up the upper, whatever millimeters that it's thickened down here, add that to this. And now you have that many millimeters that your temporomandibular joint is not being able to close. So that's where a professional comes in, like me. I am able to measure your vertical dimension and put the correct amount of reline material in those dentures so that it's not opening up your vertical dimension more than what your temporomandibular joint is supposed to be opened. But when you are using thermoplastic products, it's arbitrary. You're putting goop, bubblegum, textured, thickness, goop in your denture, upper and lower, or one or the other if you only have one. And then you're biting together and pushing it into place and forming it and all that stuff. And whatever it is, because you don't know what the measurement of your vertical dimension is. You're just going and biting and it's going wherever it's going. So when you have thermoplastic products in your dentures, not only is your temporomandibular joint bothered by that thickness, but now when your joint can't close all the way to where it's supposed to close, it doesn't know that it's supposed to stop. So it's going to still try to close that much further. And so you're smashing those dentures together and against your bone. And this temporomandibular joint is not going to stop doing that. Every time you chew, it's trying to close to that place where it's supposed to close, but it can't because the dentures are too tall. But it's still going to go, go, go. Guess what? Wearing down the bone. It's the hill I'm going to die on, and I'm never going to stop talking about it. And people who wear a cushion grip long term and people who wear a Dentach long term hate to hear it, and they usually block me. But they'll probably be looking for me down the road when they realize that I'm really good at making dentures for people with severe bone loss. Sorry. Okay, Carrie. Hope that answers your question. Have a great day. Bye.